appreciate you taking the time to join us. My name is Danielle Durante, and I'm a marketing coordinator here at Glassdoor. Really quickly, I'm just going to go over a few webinar tips, and then we'll dive in to the webinar. So really quickly, everyone's been muted just so that there's no background noise, so you'll see that you can connect using the telephone or your computer's microphone and speakers, but you will be muted. If you have any questions at any point of the webinar, looking to the right-hand side, you can put in your question, and that'll go straight to us. Special shout out to Patrick N., who's already utilizing this function. Please continue to send in your thoughts and comments and questions our way, and we will see them. So next, I'd like to introduce Alicia Garibaldi. She's our Senior Content Marketing Manager here at Glassdoor. She is by far the Glassdoor veteran, as she's been here for 4 years now, which is very unlike most of our workforce here. She's famously known as being the author of our Employer Branding for Dummies, Glassdoor Special Edition, which is just changed how people are seeing employer branding and the steps that they're taking to implement in their own companies. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to Alicia.
Thank you so much, Danielle, and thank you to everybody that joined us on this great webinar today. I'm so excited to be talking about these 10 free steps to improve your employer brand, because I find employers asking us a ton, you know, what can I do for free? Like, I don't have any budget dedicated to employer branding. So what are the quickest, easy ways that I can get started to improve my brand today? So hopefully, you know, some of you are here for that reason. We have a lot of great steps to cover, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Also, if you'd like to tweet throughout the session, you can use the hashtag Glassdoor, and we'll respond to your comments and questions as we go. So the first step that I have is responding to reviews. And just a couple of stats to throw your way. 46% of Glassdoor members say that they're reading reviews when they first started their search and have not spoken to anyone at the company yet, a recruiting or hiring manager. That was from a Glassdoor survey in 2013. So Glassdoor review might be the first thing that a candidate sees before they've even spoken to anyone at your organization. And 69% agree that their perception of a company improves after seeing an employer respond to a review. So that's pretty powerful. So, you know, now that we live in this age of social media, your message is out there, you know, whether you want it to be or not. And I always tell employers, focus on the reviews that other people are finding the most helpful, because users will technically, you know, most likely see those reviews more often. So see what your audience is finding is helpful, you know, and take the good with the bad. I always say, you know, no company is perfect, and every company has things that they're working on. And keep in mind that candidates are likely to read 4 to 7 reviews before forming an opinion. So make sure that you read all reviews, spot key trends, and really voice your message and where you stand. And this is a free and easy way to get your message out there regarding, you know, a message that might already be online. 3 steps to implement this is to join the conversation on Glassdoor. You can do this by signing up for a free employer account. Like I said, compliment the good and appreciate the bad. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a bit, and how bad reviews actually can help you make your business better. And it also, this one response can show candidates that you value and are receptive to employee feedback. Step 2 is to get social. So everybody nowadays is on one social network doing something. So I always say, you can never be too social in the environment that we live in now. And, you know, you might be using different platforms for different things. For instance, you might have initiatives like recruiting or product promotion or marketing, you know, to consumers versus businesses. So make sure the first thing to do, and this is also, you know, typically free, is to set up, you know, presences on the social channels that you're going to hone in on this year for your different audiences. So at Glassdoor, we have 3 different social channels that we utilize. We have at Glassdoor for consumers and candidates. We have at GD for employers, for our employer audience and talent acquisition professionals. And then we have at Inside Glassdoor for candidates that are actively looking to work for our company. And I know a lot of you on the line are probably thinking, I don't have someone dedicated to social, what do I do? So actually at Glassdoor, we don't have a dedicated head on our recruitment team when it comes to social. So each member of the team divides and conquers and picks a day that they're going to be posting different things. And it's really important once you set up a presence to be consistent and to keep posting things. Don't go dark on your audience. Keep them engaged, keep posting. And another great thing that you can do is utilize hashtags. Just like we're doing on this webinar, hashtag Glassdoor, you can emphasize hashtags that relate to your work environment. I know at Twitter they use hashtag join the flock. At VMware, they use iHeartVMware. Start, researching what other companies are doing, and you can promote hashtags so that content is more easily found and gets out to a wider audience. 3 steps to get social are, first, create a presence, hone in on, don't bite off more than you can handle. At Glassdoor, we tend to kind of focus on different channels at different times. Some that I recommend are Twitter, Facebook, Glassdoor, SlideShare, Pinterest, Instagram. Those are all really, really good channels to keep in mind. And it's important, like I said, to stay active once you create that presence so that people keep following you and keep, being engaged. Another feature that we just launched on Glassdoor is company updates, and this is a great way to post open positions or new photos and videos that are directed towards candidates, at the moment they're researching your company and what it's like to work there. Another great thing to do on social is highlight company awards, holidays, and milestones, and encourage employees to have a voice as well. And I tell employers to make sure that their organization has a sensible social policy, and build a case for this, because the more you can encourage employees to get your message out there, the more they're going to lead you to referrals and candidates, getting a vision of what it's really like to work there. And who better to utilize than the people that work for you every day and really, really know what it's like. So let's move on to step 3, and I love this step because I'm not sure if any of you have noticed on the line that all of the photos that we're featuring on each slide are actually of our employees, and I personally really like the photos in this presentation, and it just goes to show, I think the days of stock photos are over. I think there's a time and place for them, but people really want to see real people at work, right? They want to see what it's really like in a day in the life at any employee at your company. So don't say it, show it. Everybody has, an iPad, an iPhone, pretty good cameras pretty much at their disposal. Utilize employees, again, to post photos. I know at Glassdoor we have, I have a photo in here that I'll show you in a bit, but not to spoil it, but we had like a selfie competition, and we're able to highlight a bunch of different team members in a contest that we hosted internally, and then we're able to feature on social channels. Also, videos can be low budget as well, since everybody has cameras on their phone. Most Mac computers have editing softwares that are relatively inexpensive, so those are all things to look at. And another stat on that is 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual, and visuals are processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than text. So it can be a really quick way to, highlight a department or open position and glimpse of your work culture and organization. And just a couple steps on how to utilize photos and videos. Encourage viral photos and videos in every department. Show the real you, no stock photos if you can on your career blog or through social posts, and then let employees be who they are and get involved and help you recruit. It's so important that if your mission is, posted on your career site as one thing, that it's consistent across all channels and that your employees are reiterating that mission and vision. Without employee buy-in, it's really hard to gain candidate trust. And this is the photo I was telling you about on the selfie competition. I think, this was the winner, and I gotta say, it's a pretty good selfie shot. I think everybody got a selfie stick as a reward. And this is our sales development team here at Glassdoor. So these are great ways to kind of host contests, get your employees involved, and let them help you spread that message. Step 4 is also a free and simple one to do. I think companies, we spend a lot of time focusing on how we're going to market our products and how we're going to market, to the outside world. But it's really important to also focus on those people that are going to be coming in, building those products, and helping you market them to the public. Recruiting A players is extremely important, and every candidate that comes in your organization should be treated as if they were a customer to your brand. And I always say a great way to look at that is, if someone has a good experience, they'll tell 3 people. If someone has a bad experience, they'll tell 10 people. So make sure that nobody has a bad experience. Don't let interviewees, don't go dark on interviewees and, not keep them updated on the process and where you're at. Try to close the loop with everybody. A great story I love here at Glassdoor is we were hiring and we talked to a candidate and he was like, I'm not a great fit for the role, but I know somebody who is. And we wound up hiring that person. So keep in mind that if that candidate that comes in isn't a right fit for the role, they might lead you to somebody who is, and word of mouth is important. So another way to think about it is interviews are kind of like that first or second date. So make sure your company is putting the right foot forward to win the war for talent, and set everybody up for success. It's so important that once they come in, what they see is reiterated, when you onboard and within those first 3 to 6 months that an employee starts. That way, nobody winds up with buyer's remorse and everybody stays at your company for a long, long time. So treat every candidate like a customer. Ways that you can do this is audit your interview reviews. These are free and available on Glassdoor. You can even audit competitor interview reviews and see how you can have a leg up on the competition. So definitely make sure you're seeing what's being said about you, you're noting what your first impression is, highlighting trends, highlight the good, fix the bad, and take it all into account. And you can also respond to interview reviews just like you would respond to employee reviews. And this is important as well to show that you appreciate the feedback, you're going to improve any comments that they had, and also, highlight good feedback that candidates have when they come in for an interview. We do this on Glassdoor. We practice what we preach, and we respond to interview reviews as well if you'd like to look at any of those for reference. So step 5 is to get involved in the community, and this can be a free and easy way to help employees feel really good at work. It can be a great team bonding activity. I know, again, if you don't have headcount dedicated to this one area and building a corporate social, responsibility program, you can divide and conquer and just create a calendar on what's going on locally in your community and how employees can get involved. And I love what you see up on the screen too. We created Glassdoor cycling attire, so you can see some of our colleagues sporting that as well when they went on a team outing. And these are great to highlight again as photos and videos on your career page, blog, social, etc. So 3 steps to implement step 5, which is getting involved in the community, is to get your employees involved, tell them what's coming up when within your local community, and encourage them to give back. This is so important nowadays, and it really does wonders for your employer brand to help employees feel really good and engaged, and you as a company also look good to the general public. So it's a great way to improve your brand, and post a calendar and talk about it in team huddles or company-wide meetings. Step 6 is hard, and we know that this is a hard step, but it's important, right? Because feedback makes us all better. And no company and no person is perfect, so we know that this is a hard one, but we live in an age of transparency. No one goes and books a hotel or goes out to eat without researching what that place is really like, and companies nowadays are no different. So encouraging feedback and always keeping in mind that constructive feedback makes you better is really, really important. And candidates, they actually get to suspicious if they don't see any bad reviews. I mean, think about it. If you don't see any negative reviews, you know, sometimes you wonder, like, is that really true? Is that enough of a sample set? So keep that in mind. Some stats that support that are 68% of consumers trust reviews more when they see both the good and the bad, and 95% suspect censorship or fake reviews when they don't see bad scores. So, you know, don't take it personally. Feedback, again, it makes us better, and asking for feedback is so important as you refine your employer brand strategy. This is a free way to really start improving it today and spot key trends and find, you know, areas that you're really good at and areas that you can highlight, as well as areas, you know, that you can work on. And with employer branding, it's never a set it and forget it strategy. We all know that initiatives at companies change. You know, you try to attract different talent for different roles. It's important that you keep that message fresh, constantly evolve your strategy. And the best way to do this is to gain feedback and see how you can improve for the, you know, over the next 3 to 6 months. So don't wait until review cycles to ask for feedback. Encourage constant feedback. This is at every step of the journey, from the interview to, you know, the review after they start to after, you know, all those veterans have been there, what keeps them there. Incorporating those messages into your employer brand will help you be consistent and, you know, really drive home that employee value proposition. And again, always take the good with the bad. So step 7, you know, after asking for feedback, this is important to show, you know, that you listen and that you care. And this is part of, you know, this should be part of your employee engagement strategy, is to adapt based on the feedback. You know, and once you decide, okay, we've noted, you know, all these key trends that we're really good at, and all these key trends that, you know, this is the core values that our company is going to live by. Make sure that you run that by 5 to 10 of your key employees across departments, and make sure that you've nailed it on the messaging, because they, again, will help you spread that message. And without employee buy-in, it's really hard to gain trust from candidates when they're looking to apply. So step 7, after reaching out for feedback, is to adapt to it. And this gains trust with employees and candidates. 96% of job seekers say that it's important to work for a company that embraces transparency. That was from a survey in October of 2014. And we have a great program on Glassdoor to show that you're a transparent company called Open Company. You can look at some top organizations like Allstate, Deloitte, and Zillow. They've taken the 5 steps to becoming them. One of those steps is responding to reviews, posting photos, and some of the other steps that we've actually talked about. So it's a great way to show that you're a transparent company, that you value feedback and listen to employees. So a great way to adapt to feedback, top 3 steps: be flexible. Employer branding, it's not set it and forget it. You got to constantly adapt and, you know, adapt to the market and what different talent is looking for. You got to test messaging and get employee buy-in. A great way to do this is through focus groups within your organization. And also, you know, create a work environment and work hours that really tailor to your top performers. Find key themes, you know, and see what you can change to get the competitive edge with your employer brand. All right, moving on to step 8. We have 10 steps, so a couple more to go, and then I'll open it up for questions. So step 8 is to reinforce your core values. And we've already kind of talked about this in the previous steps on spotting key trends and what are the core themes that you're seeing employees say and candidates. Some of the areas to focus on that I think are important are career opportunities, comp and benefits, culture and values, senior leadership, and work-life balance. And the reason I say that these are important is because we see in a lot of surveys that these themes come up quite a bit. You know, that employees are likely to leave due to growth opportunities. I have a few stats on our millennial audience, which is a lot of the workforce nowadays. 60% of millennials consider the most attractive perk to be growth opportunities. That was in a Glassdoor survey in March of 2013. And then 46% of millennials said that they left their last job due to the lack of career growth. So it's important as you know, think of the candidates and those candidate personas as the people and talent that you want to be reaching, what is of value to those people that you're trying to attract to your organization? You know, what is the competition doing, you know, differently that you might be able to market yourself to have the leg up on them, and how can you weave that into your employer brand strategy? These are all really important to gain the competitive edge. Also, as new college grads come up the ranks, like Generation Z, they have a whole different set of principles. Salaries actually been seen to be a lot more important with this audience. So again, constantly evolve, you know, figure out those core values. They can change over time, but make sure, you know, that they're consistent with the feedback that you're seeing, you know, and that they really hold true to your employee value proposition once you have that set. And provide a sense of purpose for all employees. Tie each role into the overall mission if you can, because this will keep employees engaged, you know, and more likely to stay and help you recruit other talent. And, you know, empower employees to be an active part, developing and living out those values. I love the photo on this one. This was, we had an Aloha themed meeting that day, so everybody was kind of in very colorful gear. So step 9 is encourage employees to become brand ambassadors. The more you include employees to be part of your message, again, the more likely they're going to promote your brand to friends and their networks. You know, and one employee at your organization might be able to reach another 2,000 candidates that will see a post on what it's like to work there. So just keep that in mind. It's a great way, free way, to get your message out socially and in front of a wider audience. 72% of employees with socially encouraging employers are significantly more likely to help boost sales compared to only 48% of employees whose employers aren't socially encouraging. So make sure you, again, have a sensible social policy, you know, train hiring managers, train your organization and talk about it and have a conversation about it so that they feel open to posting. And even some applicant tracking systems will allow employees to opt in to share job posts on your behalf. And when people click to respond, they'll get credit for that referral. So those are all different tools that you can look into as well to help with that. Perfect, and I was just looking over the question, so I'm going to take a step back because someone asked if I could repeat the core values. Let me animate the rest on this slide, and then we'll get back to these 3 steps on encouraging employees to become brand ambassadors. But the core values that I recommend focusing on, there's 5 of them, and with an enhanced profile on Glassdoor, we actually provide heat maps that show how you stack up to competitor companies in these areas. But the 5 areas, again, are career opportunities, compensation and benefits. Again, it's free on Glassdoor to monitor salaries at competitor organizations, so this is easy to do. We also have benefit information available that you can compare and contrast, totally free to look at. Culture and values is the 3rd. Senior leadership is 4th, and work-life balance, super important one, was the 5th one that I mentioned. And again, we encourage employees when they write reviews to rate you in all 5 of these areas, and you can actually, with an enhanced profile, see how you stack up based on, you know, how the competition's doing in each area. So that can be an easy way to spot, oh, I need to, you know, market this particular value that my competition isn't doing quite as well as I am. So back to, I think we're on step 9, encourage employees to become brand ambassadors. Yep, step 9. So the 3 ways to implement that is employee company gear. You know, if there's any way that you can have employees either wear a theme, you know, these are great to utilize in photos, or also branded gear is a great way to get your message out there. Involve employees in the hiring process, and utilize referral programs, and make sure you incentivize employees fairly for both hard to fill and easy to fill roles. So it's really important to categorize roles within your company, you know, based on cost and time per hire, and then compensate employees fairly based on the type of talent that they bring in for you. Step 10 is celebrate company and team wins. This is our last step, and it's really important to create traditions, celebrate holidays. Up on the screen, this was Glassdoor's Halloween. This was our last Halloween, actually. One of my colleagues was Thanksgiving dinner that you could see in the center. So this is a great photo. It's a great way to get employees involved. Celebrate your wins. When you hit a milestone, celebrate that together. Every employee is part of your organization and helping, move your company forward. So whether it's treating to a small lunch or a company outing or, dressing up for Halloween, employee appreciation can go a long, long way. A stat on that is increasing employee engagement investments by 10%, so not much, can increase profits by $2,400 per employee per year. Those dollars add up and can save you money in the long run. So make sure you're appreciating and rewarding employees throughout the year for all the hard work that they do. 3 steps to implement this one is encourage them to wear company gear or holiday gear, plan activities. I think I went back, sorry. Plan activities outside of work, and then keep your employees happy and healthy. I love this quote from Josh Burson from our Employer Branding Summit in September of last year. He said, life is too complicated. Life is complicated enough without work being complicated too. So keep it simple, keep work fun. Make sure, you live the employer brand that you're creating and that, you keep your employees happy and healthy for the long run. They're more likely to stay and push your company even farther. As Danielle mentioned, as we started the webinar, a great place and resource to start is to read and download Employer Branding for Dummies. You can find this on employers.glassdoor.com. It's under our resources ebooks section. You can also sign up for a free employer account. This is a free way to get started on a lot of the steps we've talked about, like updating your mission on Glassdoor, uploading relevant and recent photos, and responding to reviews today, which is so, so important. And now I'll open it up for questions. Also, if you want to connect with me, my email is alicia@glassdoor.com. And then my Twitter handle, it's my middle name, it's @AlbaGaribaldi. So now let me just go ahead and get through some questions.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for sending in your questions. The number one question we got throughout the presentation was about permissions regarding videos and photos. So, Alicia, how do you manage permissions on internal and external pictures that we take?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I will say internal contests keep it fun and light and also help you monitor what employees, what photos they're taking. You can set up a kind of a shared link. That's what we did for our selfie contest. We said, we want to see who can take the best selfie at Glassdoor, which is so fun nowadays. And we had like a selfie stick that we kept up front that everybody could use to try and take a photo of their department or their team or themselves. And we all posted them on a shared file, or a shared resource that we could check the photos, and then we posted, the ones that we really liked on our social channels. Nowadays, with permissions and stuff, I mean, if they're working for your company, your legal team can typically have, it's typically when they sign up to work for you that, they sign some agreement that using photos and videos are fine, so I would just check with them. And also, keep in mind that it's impossible to monitor everything employees are saying on social, so I think the best way to do and implement that so that you see, kind of what employees will post about your organization, and it could be a fun exercise just to see, hey, we're going to have a contest around everyone taking the best photo of our company culture. We'll announce the winner on Friday and post the winner. This is a great way for you to get insight on, okay, what do our employees think about our culture, and is it the same as the message that we've drafted about who we are as a company? So there's a lot of different options. I think internal contests are a really great and free way to do that. And you can keep it cheap by doing like, here's a selfie stick. I don't think they're very expensive. So you can have a little reward or treat them to lunch or something nice for participating.
Another question we got was, can we post updates like on Facebook to Glassdoor?
Can you post updates on Facebook to Glassdoor?
No, like on Facebook.
Oh, like on Facebook, absolutely. I mean, as you develop different social presences, like on Facebook, Twitter, Glassdoor, then you got to think about the strategy. When people are on Glassdoor, they're typically researching open jobs and your employer brand. So it's great to post messaging relevant to your culture, milestone celebrations, and job listings, or videos about what it's like to work in particular departments. That's great for the audience on Glassdoor. Facebook, you might do kind of more news-related updates. It could, depending on different initiatives and what audience you have on there. If you do have a candidate Facebook present, in other words, a Facebook presence for candidates to a page for them to look at, then yeah, those messages could be very similar. But yeah, absolutely. And you can link to stuff and also post photos and those updates on Glassdoor.
Awesome. Another question that we've gotten several times is about step 1, and that's responding to reviews. What do you do in the case that you know that you have a disgruntled ex-employee that's leaving a falsified review?
That's a great question. We have a lot of auditing methods in place, to be sure that, if the information would be relevant to somebody researching what it's like to work at your organization. So typically, me as a consumer, when I'm looking at a review, the first thing I look for is if it's a current or former employee, and that's going to affect how I look at that review. If they're not currently at the company, I'm not going to put as much weight in it as if it's somebody who is current at the company. So that's one thing to consider. If it is a false review, in some cases, it's good to get with your department and see how you would like to handle. We always say, thank them for their feedback, reiterate your company mission and what the values that you stand by and how you're going to ensure that those values are, held true. But we always say, don't get defensive, write the message as if everyone and their mom is going to see it. Make sure it's a message that holds true to the brand that you're putting out there. Because you're not just writing a response to that review, you're writing it for the thousands of candidates that are going to be seeing it as well. So just keep in mind that it's really, as you respond, important to reiterate your values, what the things that you might be working on and how you're, working to ensure those values hold true.
Great. Another question about employer branding just as a whole, how do you ensure that this is a corporate-wide effort and not just an HR effort?
Absolutely. And it should be a company-wide effort. I know we have internal meetings about our culture here at Glassdoor as well. We're just like every other company. And some of the ways that you can reinforce that and reiterate across, the whole company is one great way is to encourage feedback, to show that you're listening and that your employees are making your company better. We write reviews as well here at Glassdoor about Glassdoor. And we provide, constructive feedback along with, the things that we want to highlight as, why we enjoy working here every day. So utilize your key players, talk about it openly. The best way to do this is to get upper management obviously on board and build the business case. We have a great ebook on building the business case for employer branding that you should check out because it will save your company money in the long run. It's easy to build the business case when you start showing people the money that you can save by improving that employer brand and ensuring that every employee is happy and helping you recruit top talent. The more that you become a brand of choice, the less you're going to have to spend dollars trying to find top talent.
Awesome. Another question is, what manner do we use for internal surveys? Do we use email, SurveyMonkey, or anything else?
Those are great tools. SurveyMonkey is definitely a good one. We utilize that. Glassdoor reviews are also awesome to look at. We have a great resource, 8 email templates for employer branding, for employee engagement. And it breaks it out by department because, say you've noticed that you had no software engineer at your company has written a review and this is an area that you're heavily recruiting for right now. It's in your best interest to get some reviews up there so software engineers can see, oh, wow, that's a place that I want to work. That's somebody, that's a team that looks exactly like the team I want to work for. So, make sure that you're spotting holes if there are any, that you have a solid amount of feedback across every single job role. And yeah, those tools that you mentioned, SurveyMonkey and Glassdoor, I would say would be my top two go-tos.
For people that are not super familiar with social media and are looking to get more channels and more active online, where do you suggest that they learn that from, and how should they implement their social channels on Glassdoor?
That's an excellent question. I know I myself am always reading about all the top social trends and what to post where. We do have some resources on that. We have some great blog posts on that on the employers.glassdoor.com blog. And I think the best way to get started, personally, my top go-to channels are Facebook, Twitter, and Glassdoor. Like I said, LinkedIn is good too. Instagram is newer. And there's different channels for different things. But I would say the best place to start is do your research and pick 3. Don't take on all of them. Pick 3 that are really going to help move the needle for you, and look at followers, engagement, likes, retweets on all those different networks, and see where you're getting the most traction and hone in on those, because it can vary based on who you're trying to recruit. Do homework on your audiences as well and see how many of them are active on each of those social networks that you can target with that message. I know on Glassdoor, for instance, with a free employer account, which again is totally free to sign up for, you can actually see the demographic of people coming to research your page on Glassdoor, and it breaks it out by age, by gender, and also tells you what job titles they're clicking on. So that can be a good way to see, your traction and traffic on, just Glassdoor alone. And some of those other social networks do have free tools where you can find that out as well. Awesome. So I think that's all the questions that we have. Again, feel free to connect with me. Thank you so much for joining today. And everybody, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thanks so much.